Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. Huge topic today. Should kids even be on social media at all? Well, there are some laws that are coming down the pike that might change everything. Let's jump in and talk about it. So, imagine if you will, your 13-year-old is trying to start an account on some social media platform, and then up pops a box or a button that clicks asking them to verify that they're 18 years or older. Well, you know they're not, and the company knows that they're not. But here's the real question: who's legally responsible when a child spends hours a day on a social media platform or an app that is collecting their data and it's tracking their location, and it might even expose them to adult content? This is becoming an increasingly huge issue across the country with parents. And there are some lawmakers in different states who are finally starting to step in. They're trying to pass some new laws that force social media platforms to verify whether a child is 18 years old or older. In other words, to get their age, whether or not the parents have consented, and that it's going to protect the kid's privacy online. This issue is really exploding in 2025, and it's going to end up affecting parents and kids in very real ways, and it's also going to affect companies. Why does this even matter right now? For years, parents have been basically told, well, just monitor your kids' activity on their phones. But this doesn't always work because kids are going to find ways to do what it is that they want to do. And even if you don't allow your child to have a smartphone, they're probably going to have a friend who does have a smartphone, and they're going to be looking at content, looking over each other's shoulder to see, whatever it is that they want to see. The truth is that these internet systems, they just weren't built for kids. They weren't designed for kids. Apps like TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, these were designed and put together for engagement. They weren't put together for child protection. That basically means that the longer your child is on one of these apps, the longer it is that their data is being collected and the more ads they're seeing. And we've all heard about the increasing media attention that there is about kids who spend hours a day on social platforms have increased anxiety, teenage anxiety and depression, and sleep issues. So in response, states are looking into ways to regulate some of this activity and this content, and especially what companies can do with minors' data, and even whether kids can be on these platforms at all. Let's take a look at what the legal landscape is with all of this. There is a law that started it all, and it's called the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA. So that passed in 1998 was supposed to make it illegal for websites to collect personal data and information from kids under 13 without verifiable parental consent. Well, of course, we know that that didn't work out very well, and a lot of these laws and acts just have not been able to keep up with the rapidly exploding technology. So that some of them, they don't address problems like, teenagers who are between the ages of 13 to 17. They haven't been able to address behavioral tracking algorithms, which are a fairly new thing. And they haven't been able to address the addictive nature of modern social feeds. We all have seen kids that it's like, pulling a tooth without an anesthetic, to have them give up their phone even for 10 minutes. And that's why some states like Utah, Arkansas, Texas, and California are looking into stronger laws aimed at creating a stronger digital safety net for kids. Enter the new wave of age verification laws. One state, I think it's Utah, and I think this was passed in 2024, requires parental consent for anyone under 18 to create a social media account. I think it's called the Social Media Regulation Act, and if you are a resident of Utah, you just need to check into that and see if that is in force now. Some of these new laws are going to be setting curfews where kids cannot access these apps and programs overnight. Arkansas and Texas are looking into laws that would require companies to verify ages and block minors if they don't have verified parental consent. What's the point of all these laws? Well, they're designed to push back against what many see as, the wild west out there of the internet. And it's raising big legal questions about privacy, free speech, and government overreach. As usual, whenever this kind of a question comes up, and it's a big thing across the country, the major question that always comes up is the balancing act. Uh, that is the balancing act between privacy and protection. And this can be super tricky too. I mean, you think about it. To verify somebody's age, obviously a platform is going to have to collect more information. Sometimes IDs, birth dates, even facial recognition data has to be used, which of course leads to the very next question. Is that really protecting kids, or is it just giving tech companies even more personal data to hold on to? And then, of course, there are civil liberties groups who are arguing that mandatory ID verification is going to put a damper on free expression, or it's going to expose sensitive family data. On the other hand, concerned parents are saying that these types of things are necessary due to the mental health crisis that we've all heard of, like I talked about earlier. And that would justify strong digital guardrails for teens who are experiencing a lot of these mental health crises that many parents believe point directly to their involvement in and the time they spend on social media platforms. So courts are going to be asked to decide, do these laws go too far or not far enough? So, what are the legal implications for parents and kids and companies for all of this? Well, for parents, it's going to be kind of like signing a permission slip for a field trip. You may soon need to verify your child's age and provide consent before they can use social media. For kids, it may mean restrictions on late night use or content filters and limiting messages with strangers. And for companies, it's going to be a minefield that they'll have to navigate through, because it's going to bring up lots of issues, like violating these laws could mean fines, even into the thousands of dollars per incident. Failing to protect minors' data could lead to civil lawsuits. Ignoring new state laws could water down or block the bills. But public pressure in these areas is really growing. Well, what does the future look like for all this stuff? Well, right now, it's up in the air. Some people would like to have a national standard for all of this. Right now, it's a patchwork because states can come up with their own laws and rules regarding this issue. And a lot of people think that that's confusing to families and companies. Congress is debating federal kids' online safety laws that would make for like a national standard. We're all aware of the recent Take It Down Act that the president signed at the beginning of 2025 that at least addresses some of the dangers that kids are exposed to on the internet. But I mean, the takeaway from all of it is that whatever happens, one thing is clear: the days of social media just being a free-for-all for minors are numbered. It's kind of redefining what a lot of people refer to as digital childhood and what that will end up looking like. So if you're a parent, talk with your kids about what's online, what the dangers are out there, and how they need to be really careful about what they are looking at and listening to. Know what apps they have on their phone and what changes are coming up on those apps. And if a lot of this just seems overwhelming, what's the best solution? Well, not to allow them to have a smartphone until they're older. Kids can have a flip phone. I understand that for some that's kind of like going back to the Stone Age, but and so you'll have to make whatever decision is best for you and your kids. And if you're a business or a content creator, pay attention to the new laws that are going into effect and where they stand, because they may soon determine who can even see your content if it's violating any of these laws. I would really love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Should the government step in to protect kids online? Should it be up to parents and families to decide? Now, for me as a dad, I would really like to have a large, presence in and say in what's going on with my kids and what they're being exposed to. I don't want to just leave that up to companies and lawmakers and such like that. So I think that parents are always the first line of defense for their kids. That's my personal take on it, but I would certainly love to hear yours. If this was helpful to you or informative, just go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more of these legal breakdowns, and I'll see you on the next video.